would you have the most trouble going over or like doing? Go ahead. 4 and 6. Okay. Anything else? 18 and 20. Okay. Anything else? Number 9. Anything else? Say again. 7. Anything else? Okay. So those are the ones that we're going to go over. Okay, so the first one that we're going to go over is going to be number 4. Okay, so go ahead and look at number 4. All right, so it says an employee receives a 3% raise once per year. If the employee's initial salary is $58,800, what will be the employee's salary after 9 years? Okay, so what formula are we using with this? What formula are we going to use with this? Well, we're talking about growth and decay, right? So that's going to be that P times 1 plus R raised to the T. And this can be minus as well, but since we're growing money, it's going to be a plus. Okay. P is going to be our initial amount. R is going to be our rate. And T is going to be the time or number of years. Okay, so what was our initial amount? $58,800. Okay, and then we have 1 plus, what was our rate changed to a decimal? We have 3%, so we want to change that to a decimal. So we're going to move that decimal place over 2 times. What is that going to be? 0.03. And then we're going to raise that to the 9th power. So looking at our options, which one of these set it up the exact same way we have? Okay. All right, so on number 3, what would we start with? What's our initial amount? Okay. And then we have 1 plus because the balance is growing, right? And what's our rate changed to a percent? I'm sorry. What is our percent changed to a decimal? Fantastic. And then the number of years is, okay, so which one of these is set up that way? B and D. No, just this D, right? Yep, there we go. Our answer is D. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at number 6. That's the next one you'll ask for. So for tax purposes, a car rental company assumes each car in their fleet depreciates, that's going to be an important word, by 8% per year. If the initial value of the car was $22,000, what will the value be when the car is 8 years old? Okay, so same formula that we're going to use, but instead of plus, we're going to use subtraction. The reason why we're going to use subtraction is because the word depreciates. That means it's losing value. Okay, so we start off with 22,000. Start off with 22,000. And we're going to say 1 minus. We want to change our percent to a decimal. So what is that going to be? Percent to a decimal. 0.08. And then the number of years. 8. So which one of these is like this? Well, what's 1 minus 0.08? That's 0.92, right? Which is A. Good. You should have gotten A as your answer, right? Anybody need me to go over that? Okay. So our initial amount is going to be that 5,010, right? Okay, so 5,010. It's saying that it's reducing each year. So that's going to be 1 minus. We're going to change that percent to a decimal. So that's going to be 0.04. And then we are going from year 2022 to the year 2028. That's 6 years. Okay. Well, 1 minus 0.04 is going to be 0.96. Ta-da. Yeah. Okay, so 7 is asking us to solve each equation. Okay. There's a couple different ways that we can go about doing this. I'm going to use logs to help me because we all know roughly the circle of life, right? So, yeah, roughly. All right, so we're going to start at our base, go to the outside, finish at our exponent. So we're going to have log of base 5 of 1 over 125 equals 2x. Okay, so go ahead. Okay, so we started our number that's being raised to an exponent. That's going to be the first thing we write down. It's going to be a subscript, yes. Yeah. So then we're going to go to 1 over 125. So notice the order that we wrote this in. 5 and then 1 over 125. And then the last thing that we're going to write is equal to 2x. Yep. Now that we're here, we're going to take this and we're going to plug it into Desmos. Okay. Remember, you can only do this in the Desmos graphing calculator. You cannot do that in the scientific. When you type this in, you're going to go to the keyboard, go to functions, and then scroll down to where it says log of base A. You're going to type it in. And that gives me -3. Okay, so that's going to give me -3 equals 2x. But I still want to solve for x. So how do I get rid of this 2? Divide by 2 on both sides. And so x is going to equal -3/2. So on number 8, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to use the circle of life to write this out as log. We're going to say log of base 2 of 8 equals -3x plus 2. Okay. Put plus 8 like in between here. Don't put the plus. All right, so now we're going to go into Desmos. We're going to type log of base A, so log of base 2 of 8, and that's going to give me 3, right? Okay, so this is going to give me 3 on this side equals -3x plus 2. Okay, so now we're going to actually solve this out. We're going to subtract 2 from both sides. And then we're going to divide by -3. So that gave us x equals -1/3. All right, so looking at this one, since they have the same log on both sides, we can drop the logs and we can pay attention to only what's on the inside. Okay, so they have to be the exact same. So this says ln, this says ln. We're going to drop those. And we've got -4b plus 9 equals -5b minus 1. And now this becomes the same thing, like same normal solving problem. We're going to add 5b to both sides. And that'll give me 1b plus 9 equals -1. We'll subtract -9 from both sides. And that'll give me b equals -10. Ta-da. The same thing is going to happen on number 10. So go ahead and take a moment, see if you can try that one. You're going to drop the ln and then solve. All right. So on this one, what did y'all get as your answer? Y'all didn't even try it. Y'all were waiting for me to do it. Shame, shame, shame. Okay, so we're going to drop our logs. We'll have this. We're going to add x to both sides. So I'll give us 10 equals 4x. We're going to divide by 4 on both sides. But 10/4 is not an option over here. Is there any way to simplify 10/4? What can we divide both the top and the bottom by? 2. That'll give me 5/2, which is our option T. So on 14, if you get this wrong, dishonor on you. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're just going to take this and you're going to type it into Desmos. But watch closely if you don't know how to type this into Desmos. You're going to go to the keyboard. You're going to go to functions. You're going to scroll down to where it says log of base A. So right here. You're going to type, I think it's 2, right? 3. Okay. And then it's like 2.23. 2 point. Okay, that's right. All right. So we're going to get 0.730, which is option D. Okay. A lot of people are like, how do I round to the thousands? Let's have that conversation really quick. It's not that big of a deal, but I think this is a good lesson to have. When you do decimals, the first decimal, like the thing right behind the decimal point, is going to be your tens. The next one is going to be your hundreds. And the next one is going to be your thousands. Okay, so looking at this, rounding to the nearest thousand, it would be 0.730. Does that make sense? Not the sure. Not the sure. All right, so checking your work. On 13, you should have gotten C. On 15, you should have gotten C. Do not get these 3 questions wrong on your test. Huh? Yeah, there's 3 just like similar to this, different numbers though. Don't mess that up. Okay. All right, so we're going to take a look at 18 next. So go ahead and flip over to that. Number 18. And with 18, we're talking about in behavior. Yay! Nobody's excited. Thanks, guys. 18 and 20. Okay. So we're going to flip over to 18. All right, so it says, which of the following statements is true regarding this function? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and graph this bad boy. All right, so I'm going to go in here, go to function, scroll down, and it's log of base 2 of x plus 4. Make sure you use your parentheses because that changes things. Plus 3. All right. So first of all, is there a horizontal or vertical asymptote going on? And how do you know? Vertical is this way. Horizontal is to the side. Is there a vertical or horizontal asymptote going on? Is there some place on this graph that it's like approaching, never touching, and it's like near and like curving off? So is it this way or is it this way? Yes, there's a vertical asymptote. Okay, so we got vertical asymptote. All right, looking at our options right now, like going back to our options, what can we go ahead and get rid of? A and D. Fantastic. Okay, so now we're just looking at B and C, right? Okay, and now it's asking us about in behavior. So let's talk about that. So imagine yourself standing at 0, 0. This is you. Okay. I don't know why you would have hair like that, but that's fine. Okay, so as we move to the right, okay, that's going in the positive infinity direction, right? So as we move to the right, what are our y values doing? Well, let's zoom out if we're not sure. Where are they going? They keep going up. Yes. Okay. Man. All right. So as we move to the right, our y values are going up. So as x is approaching positive infinity, your y is approaching positive infinity. Cool. Okay. As we move to the left, as we go to the left, what's happening to our y values? I have a whole arrow here. Where are they going? Down. Thank you. Okay. Now, how we define this is we see that there's a vertical asymptote right here, right? Like it's not going past a certain point. So let's identify where that's at. You see this point right here? It's like negative 3.875, right? And it's getting closer and closer to -4, right? Yes. Okay. So what we do for that in behavior is we say as x is approaching -4 from the right-hand side, your y's are going to negative infinity. So looking at our options, which one looks like that? B. So we got B. Scrolling down to number 20. All right, so first thing that we want to do is we probably want to graph this, like graph it in Desmos, right? Okay, so we're going to go back into Desmos, and we're going to go to our keyboard, go to function, scroll down to where it says log of base A. Okay, and we're going to type in exactly what we see. Okay. All right, so first of all, before we even get started, is this going to have a horizontal or a vertical asymptote? Say again? It's going to have a vertical asymptote. And so where is that vertical asymptote? Right here, right? See how there's like a straight line going down? Okay. And that's at x equals 1. Look at what's going on in here. If we took this x minus 1 and solved, we would have a vertical asymptote at 1. That makes sense? Okay. So our question is asking for which one is the graph and what is the domain and the range. Okay. Let's look at our domain. Our domain is our x values, right? So what's our farthest left x value? Well, we have this vertical asymptote, so there's not going to be anything on the left-hand side. So where is this at? When Malcolm gets back, yeah. Okay. So what is our leftmost x value? 1. Okay, so we're going to go from 1. So what's our rightmost x value? Infinity, right? So I think how they have it written on your paper is x is greater than 1. Okay, so looking at our options, what can we go ahead and get rid of? A and C. Okay, so now we're narrowed it down to B and D. Okay, and both of B and D have a range, which is all real numbers. Okay, now we're actually looking at the graph. What I would suggest doing on this is I would pick a couple of points and then match those points up to our graph. Don't just go off of, well, I think it looks like, no, pick a couple points and then match it off the graph. So what you can do here is, if it'll let me, you can create a table and pick a couple of points to actually have numbers. And then look at your answer choices. So we have 6, -2, we have 2, -3. So when we go in here and we look at our graphs, we have 6, -2, and 2, -3. 6, -2, 2, -3. Boom. B is our answer. Ta-da. Magic. All right, so on 19, I got C. Yeah. Questions on that? Okay, so remember, graphing it, identify your domain and range. You can go from there. Okay, one thing I do want to hit, we didn't go over 1 and 2. Okay, continuous exponential growth and decay problem. Okay, this formula that you're going to use for this one is PE raised to the RT. Okay, so this is different from what we got down here. Okay, same concept though. All you're doing is you're plugging in the information that they give you. So like on number 1, they say the current population is 1,866. We're going to plug that in here. So that's going to be 1,866. We have E as our our base. Our rate is 2%. So we're going to change that to a decimal. And then the number of years is going to be 7. Okay, so which one does that? That's going to be B. All right, there's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't do well on this test. There is no reason that you should not do well. Okay, the test looks very similar to what you are seeing. Okay, there's no tricks, there's no gimmicks. Okay,